Dear students, today we are going to do chapter 2 of Social and Political Life. The lesson title is The State Government. The learning objectives of this chapter: legislature, role of the legislature, role of the governor, the government and its role. So in class 6, you have learnt about local government, that is panchayat, municipality, etc. And now we are going to learn about the state government, the functioning of the state government, about the MLAs, the election procedure, work and power, then legislative assembly, and working of the government. Now when it comes to functioning of state government, the MLAs have an important role as they are the ones who are responsible for governing the state properly. Now let's look at legislature. Now all states in India have a legislative assembly, and this legislative assembly is also known as Vidhan Sabha. Now what exactly happens in this legislative assembly? Now this assembly is responsible for making laws. It is for ensuring that the state functions or is governed properly, and members of the legislative assembly are called MLAs. Okay, so MLAs, members of the legislative assembly. Now they are directly elected by the people, and therefore they represent the people of the state. Now in some states we have bicameral legislature and some unicameral. Now in states such as Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh, they have bicameral legislature. That means they have two houses, the lower house and the upper house. The lower house is called the Vidhan Sabha, while the upper house is called the Vidhan Parishad. Now I'm going to explain to you about Vidhan Parishad and Vidhan Sabha. Very short and in a very simple way, I'll explain to you about these two houses. Now, the Vidhan Parishad. What happens in Vidhan Parishad? Now, Vidhan Parishad or the Legislative Council, it is the upper house in those states of India that have a bicameral state legislature. Vidhan Parishad is a permanent body operating at the state level. The council can be formed or abolished when the legislative assembly passes a special resolution. It means 2/3 majority of the members who are present in voting in the state assembly are in favor of the same. Thereafter, the legislative assembly requests the parliament to create or abolish the legislative council. Then the members of this legislative council should not exceed 1/3 of the total members of the assembly of the concerned state. However, the members cannot be less than 40. And the tenure of the members of the council is 6 years, and however, 1/3 of the members retire after every 2 years. So this was all about the Vidhan Parishad or the Legislative Council. Now coming to the Legislative Assembly or the Vidhan Sabha. Now what it is? Legislative Assembly or Vidhan Sabha is the popular house representing the residents of the state. And members of Legislative Assembly, they are directly elected by the people through general elections. Members of the assembly should not be more than 500 and less than 60. Certain seats are reserved for SC and ST candidates. Further, one member is nominated by the governor from the Anglo-Indian community, and the term of Vidhan Sabha or the Legislative Assembly is 5 years. So this was all about Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. Next we have 2.2 paragraph role of the legislature on page number 13. The Legislative Assembly has greater powers than the Legislative Council. Now what are the powers? It's given here in your book. It makes laws and gets them implemented by the government. It has debates on important issues. Then on the next page, page number 14, any decision that the Chief Minister and his council make, it has to be approved first by the Legislative Assembly. And then it also approves the budget. That is how the government spends the money. Everything has to be looked upon by the Legislative Assembly, and it supervises whatever work the government does. Then the next paragraph is about, the next topic is about making of laws. Now it is one of the most important functions of the legislature to maintain or to ensure that the people in the state are living properly. So certain laws has to be made. So this is one of the important function of the legislature. The parliament, it makes laws on subjects that concern the entire nation, the subjects such as defense, while the state legislatures makes laws on local issues. When take for example agriculture, health, education, trade and commerce. So these are certain issues which are looked upon by the state legislatures. But when it comes to defense, it is the parliament who is responsible. Now there are two sets of lists, the state level and the concurrent level. So what happens? The state governments, they can frame laws. The state and concurrent on which the state governments can frame laws. So under the state level, under the state list, there are 66 subjects, 66 different parts, and these parts include police, agriculture, irrigation, education, health, etc. And 47 subjects, 47 departments or parts, they are under the concurrent list, on which both the parliament and the state legislatures can make laws. Then under the concurrent list, we have marriages, factories, electricity and labor welfare. If the parliament feels a particular state law is against the interest of the country, it can withhold it, send to the president who has the power to nullify it, okay, to stop it. Now how a law is passed? There are several procedures, to pass a law. That means bill, that is a proposal for a law. A bill can be introduced in either houses. Bills are of two types. One is money bill and the other one is ordinary bills. Money bills, it deals with finance and it can be introduced in the legislative assembly, and ordinary bills, it includes bills other than money bills. So the other proposals, leaving aside money, leaving aside finance, it comes under ordinary bill and it can be introduced in either house. Now after the bill is introduced, after the bill is proposed, the members, they will discuss the bill and then it will be put forward for voting. Then if most of the members approve, then it will be sent to the upper house. Only in case of bicameral legislatures, the places where there is bicameral legislature. And then the governor for his approval. So once it is approved by the governor, it becomes a law. Okay. The bill, it is approved by the governor and it is a law. It becomes a law. Then 2.3 is the role of the governor. So who is the head of the state? The governor is the head of the state. He or she is appointed by the president and his term is 5 years. And these are the various duties or functions of a governor. So you can go through one by one all the different functions that the governor performs. Now 2.4 on page number 15, formation of government. How is a government formed and what are its roles? We have read that for the purpose of election, each Indian state is divided into areas, and these areas are called constituencies. Each state into different constituencies. And then from each constituency, one representative, they get elected and they come out. All such elected representatives, they make up the legislative assembly of a state. And once the legislative assembly is elected, the party with the maximum number of MLA is determined. A political party that has MLAs from more than half the number of constituencies in the state is called a majority or the ruling party. So from different constituencies, people get elected. One representative come from each constituency. And then if that particular political party, which is maximum means it is half the number of constituencies of that particular state, he or she will be called the majority or the ruling party. In order to have a majority, a party has to have more than, for example, Sikkim has 32 constituencies. And in order to win or have a majority, more than half of the constituency is required. So Sikkim has 32 constituencies. In order to have a majority, a party has to have more than 16 MLAs elected to the legislature. So half of 32 is 16. So more than half. So more than 16 in order to come to the ruling party. Then the party with the most MLAs in the opposition, they become the opposition party. Now, once the majority party is determined, the governor invites its leader to form the government. And MLAs from the majority party elect their leader. He or she further becomes the chief minister of that particular state. Okay. And then again the chief minister select MLAs from his party who help him or her in assessing different duties. And these ministers are called as council of ministers. The ministers, those who help the chief minister. Okay, the ministers, those who help the chief ministers in doing different tasks or in doing different duties, they are called the council of ministers. And chief minister is the head of the government. So who is the head of the government? The chief minister is the head of the government, and the head of the state is the governor. The governor is the head of the state. And the chief minister and his council make up the executive part of the government. Okay, there is a question about the role of the executive you have to write. So from here, you'll get the answer. The chief minister and his council, they make up the executive part of the government. That is, they actually implement all the laws and decisions made by the legislative assembly. They are responsible for various departments of the government, also called ministries such as health, education, industry. So all these different sectors are looked upon by this different council of ministers together with the chief minister. Then the council of minister comprises three categories of minister: cabinet, the ministers of state, and the deputy ministers. So these three are the different parts of the council of ministers. Then what are their duties? The cabinet ministers, they are in charge of one or more ministry. They take all important decisions and ensure that they are implemented by the council of ministers. So this is their part. Then after them rank the ministers of state, who may hold charge of individual ministers or assist the cabinet ministers. So the responsibility of individual ministers is under them, on their shoulders. And they also assist the cabinet ministers. They come next to the cabinet ministers. And the last one is the deputy minister. They are the junior ones in order. They come at the bottom. They are the junior ministers who usually assist the cabinet ministers and the ministers of the state. It is the chief minister who assigns ministries to the ministers. He has the power to remove a minister at any time. He also presides over the meetings of the cabinet minister. So ultimately we see that the chief minister is the supreme authority of all. He or she is the one to remove any minister anytime. The role of the chief minister and his council. Now the chief minister and his council are responsible for the running of the government. They implement different policies and laws which have been passed in the legislature through various government departments, be it education, public work, health, etc., which are handled by the ministers in the council. For example, if the legislature passes a law making the appointment of health workers compulsory in all villages, it is the health department that ensures that the law is implemented across the state. So the minister who is responsible for the health department, he or she has to look after whether this work has been implemented in that particular area or not. So he or she is responsible for this thing. That the government frames new laws and schemes and present them to the legislature for approval. For example, state governments can make schemes that create opportunities for some groups, especially the tribals and Dalits. So these are the different schemes, different policies, different plans this government tries to initiate or bring up, which in turn help the people to upgrade their lives. Then page number 16. The state has to take action to ensure issues concerning the public are resolved. It does so through its different departments. So if the public faces any problem, who is responsible? The state, the government is responsible. The government has to look after, the government has to provide solutions to overcome that problem. As it is ultimately the people who elect the government, the chief minister and his council are answerable to them. MLAs who represent people from different parts of the state can ask the government question about its work or actions taken by it to resolve important issues. That means if there is any problem, definitely the government is answerable. The chief minister and his council have to answer these questions and tell them about the steps being taken to resolve the issues. So everything has to be said to the people because they have been elected by the people. And moreover, there are, in today's world, there are medias such as newspaper, then TV channels, news reporters. They are there at the very next moment. Just something has to go and they are there present. So everything is there now. So the government should work very carefully and effectively in order to make this place a better place for all of us. So we come to the end of this lesson, that is the state government. And